Hello, everybody. Welcome to a 2025 NFL mock draft. Now, you know me as the guy who makes the players into Madden, but as a channel called Madden Draft Expert, I need to know what I'm doing, and I need to at least give you my input on what my mock draft should be. And these are current standings. It is Mock Draft Monday. This is my first time doing this on the channel. If this does well, I will make more. Um, and I will listen to your opinions on which your favorite teams' biggest needs are. These are just what I think. Now, some teams, they might go, like, maybe the Cowboys really need a defensive lineman, but they go with Ashton Jeanty just because he's the best player available. That I don't make the rules. I'm not the Cowboys general manager for a reason. I don't know. You don't know what teams are going to do, and these are just opinions for right now. We will have. This is like in the regular season still. I still have no clue where things are going to go. And this will be no trades. This is just one full one-round mock draft, and we'll start it off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. In I believe the best player in the draft is Travis Hunter. Obviously, is it going to be a receiver? Is it going to be a corner? Maybe. He could play both, but that will be a very. That's going to be a very tough time. It's the football NFL is much more difficult than it is in college, and your fatigue is going to be a huge factor if you want to play both positions. And if you are a playmaker in both, maybe you defy all odds and maybe you do become a two-way player. But you might, when you're older, you may need to come to a decision to where what position am I going to stay at, receiver or corner. Jaguars, Christian Kirk. Obviously doesn't want to be there in Jacksonville. They could need a receiver and they could need corners. So I feel like Travis Hunter is the perfect player to take here. And he's the best player available, so best for both worlds. The New York Giants is a very weird team. Now, as you can see, their needs are a quarterback, offensive tackle, and a corner. Now, you need to think about this in like money-wise. Quarterback with Daniel Jones, no one wants Daniel Jones as a quarterback. Anyone in this world would say no to Daniel Jones as a quarterback. But you did pay him $40 million a year. You can't really get rid of that contract, and I've heard Brian Daboll, he's not given up on Daniel Jones yet, and obviously offensive line would be good help to help him out, but I'm thinking best player available here. I'm going to take Will Johnson. Now, this could be very controversial, but I don't think they need a quarterback just yet. This quarterback class is not that good. I would wait until maybe next year. I don't know who will be the next best quarterback available next year. I've got no clue, but this quarterback class, it's good, but it's not last year's. Like, you had Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Jane Daniels, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. That was a very stacked quarterback class. This year is not that good. Obviously, I'm not dissing on these quarterbacks like Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. They're very good quarterbacks in their own ways, but none of them are really generational like what Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels was. But I just think you need to take the best player available. Will Johnson, he's obviously hurt right now, but he will be back, I believe, next week for Michigan. So doesn't matter. He will still be probably one of the best corners in the league. And it's pretty. And I'd say corners are very important in this league. The Titans, I personally think they are done. They are done with Will Levis. I think they're going to take Shedeur Sanders. Now, as a Colts fan, Will Levis has beaten us He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but it's obviously not what the Titans have hoped for. He got hurt, and they had to start Mason Rudolph, and he played okay. Will Levis is playing fine now, but there's obviously a problem with the quarterback if you're sitting at pick number 3, similar to pick number 2. Shedeur Sanders, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football right now, and if you want to win games, and I mean, even with one of the worst offensive lines in the Big 12 and of entirety of FBS, Division I college football, he's still one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league, which is, I feel like that's number one quarterback worthy to take. And the Titans don't have the greatest offensive line, but I mean, maybe that efficiency moves on to the NFL. If it does, then you've got a stud at quarterback. The Cleveland Browns are interesting. Some people have them taking Teteroya McMillan. I get it. He is 6'5" and a complete monster of a deep threat. And I understand what I said earlier with the Giants' quarterback situation, paying him so much money. Although the quarterback that we're thinking of right now is Deshaun Watson, and he is even worse. Obviously, you got to write out that contract, but I believe they are done with Deshaun Watson. And I don't think it matters if he is the quarterback right now. Obviously, he's hurt. I'm glad that he's hurt. He's a horrible person. But we'll get into that later. Cam Ward, I feel like he is the second best quarterback to Shedeur Sanders, and they need to stack up on quarterback and seriously try to find their franchise guy to get out of this AFC North slump that they have been for a while. The Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. Jalen Milroe. I mean, you know it's bad when in the start of the season you had no idea who you want to start. You want to start Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, and it was like that Buccaneers situation back, I believe, 2 years ago. Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask were awful in training camp, but when they started Baker Mayfield, we know what happened there. But obviously, the same thing has not happened here in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I believe, is just cursed. Las Vegas is never going to win, and with the quarterback they've drafted, just ever, it has not been that good, and I feel like you need to hit with this quarterback, Jalen Milroe. He is a dual threat, and I believe he could. I'd say he could be decent. I just think Las Vegas, if Las Vegas develops him right, I think he could be better than Shedeur or Cam Ward. Next, we get the Dolphins. I have them taking Kelvin Banks. I think Will Campbell is the overall better lineman, but Kelvin Banks just seems like a good fit for Miami here. Obviously, you could think about quarterback, but Tua he's back, and I think he will be the starter for a good while unless something happens. Kelvin Banks, you need to protect your quarterback, and Kelvin Banks did a fantastic job at Texas protecting Quinn Ewers. I believe, it's a really good fit. I'd probably move him to either guard or right tackle because you have Teron Armstead at left tackle. If he doesn't retire, he could be at left tackle, but if Teron Armstead's still playing, he would be probably slide in at right tackle, maybe even left guard or right guard. Next, we have Will Campbell. Will Campbell, for the Patriots. I accidentally just spoiled it there. Patriots take Will Campbell. Obviously, I think he is the best offensive tackle to take here. He is one of the most well-rounded players, and you want to protect Drake May as much as you want to, and Will Campbell can do that. He can slide in at guard. Obviously, it looks like the Patriots need some O-line. Will Campbell can definitely slide in at guard, and he can be a monster for New England. New York at number 8. Obviously, quarterback could be at play here. Aaron Rodgers has not been what the Jets have looked for. He's not been that good, But then again, your quarterback options are very limited, and these are all second to third round guys, and I just wouldn't risk it. The Jets have had success drafting interior linemen with Quinnen Williams, and I believe Mason Graham is one of the best players in this draft. I personally have him as my number 2 best player in the draft, and I mean, if he's here at number 8 and you need a defensive lineman, it's pretty clear you got to take the best guy here. Probably the most dominant defensive lineman I've seen in a while. New Orleans Saints, they are, with their win yesterday, yesterday, quarterback might not be the most glaring need they need right now. Obviously, that was just one game, but I feel like maybe receiver might not be the best pick, but you got to think about, how good of a specimen Terodoro McMillan is. He is, honestly, if Travis Hunter moves, Travis Hunter moves to receiver, I still think McMillan is the better player. But why do you have him going so low? Not many. Maybe I can see the Browns taking a receiver, or maybe even the Titans, but I just feel like those are quarterback needy teams, and receivers. The receiver class for this draft is very deep, and I feel like finding a quarterback right now is the better option, and then picking a good receiver down in the second round. But Terodoro McMillan will be helping out Derek Carr, maybe giving him one more year and trying to figure out is he that guy for at least 1 or 2 more years. Well, with the Chris Olave getting hurt, I feel like you could have a really good backup in McMillan. Panthers are on the clock. I believe they take the best edge rusher available, Abdul Carter. He has solidified himself as the best edge rusher. He is, and it's a glaring need that the Panthers need a linebacker. And wouldn't you know it, Abdul Carter played linebacker at Penn State. Obviously, Chop Robinson was the defensive end for Penn State, and once he got drafted by the Dolphins, they have moved Abdul Carter to a pure defensive end, and he has shown he is one of the greatest defensive ends to come out of Penn State, kind of like Micah Parsons. They both wear 11, which is very funny. Abdul Carter, he's probably the most compared player to Micah Parsons, and I feel like you have to take him. Carolina obviously could need a quarterback, but then again, I wouldn't risk taking a quarterback now, and I still believe in Bryce Young, and one day he'll get it done. He will get it done. But Abdul Carter would be a good pick for Carolina. Dallas Cowboys, Ashton Jeanty. Probably one of the only running back needy teams in the NFL. Running back's obviously not the most glaring position you need in the NFL, but it definitely helps winning you games. And with a generational running back like Ashton Jeanty, I feel like you kind of have to get him. There's so much I could talk about Ashton Jeanty, the way he stands in the backfield like Michael Myers. I've always thought that was really funny, especially during Halloween time. I've dressed up as Michael Myers for Halloween. That was really fun with my friends and stuff. But yeah, Ashton Jeanty is about to break Barry Sanders' rushing record in college football, and he could win Heisman. If he wins Heisman, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked earlier in this draft. But Dallas Cowboys, I have them taking. Now, as a Colts fan, this is probably the pick everyone's been wanting me to think about. With the Colts, we never draft a position of need. We'll have a glaring need at corner, but we'll just pick an edge rusher just because he's the best player in the draft, like the best defensive player available. That's why I have them taking Malachi Starks. Obviously, I wouldn't be mad at this pick. Safety is not a glaring need, but the Colts are known for taking a random position. But if he's the best player available, they'll definitely shoot for it. But Malachi Starks is probably. He's a good zone guy, a good hitter, and I wouldn't mind him being in Indianapolis. He is. We do. It does say we need safety or like tight end. I feel like we need more of a linebacker. The way I've been playing, but then again, the season's not done yet, so obviously I could be changing my mind soon. Bengals. I'm surprised he's down here all this way. James Pierce, I still think he's a top premier edge rusher. I don't know why he's falling down. Stats may not show it, but he is generating pressure left and right, and he is still a monster at Tennessee. And I feel like Cincinnati just has to take him. They need an edge rusher to pair up with Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, that's his name. Obviously, I kind of want this video to go a little fast for you guys. These are just the top 10 picks I've got. Then I'll just give you brief summaries and get through this quick. Buccaneers need edge rusher. I've been taking Michael Williams. Probably, I think he might be the second best edge rusher in the class. But again, Buccaneers getting a steal here. He can play a linebacker if he wanted to. Maybe not the greatest need for Tampa Bay, a linebacker, but it could help you win games for sure. Seattle, Geno Smith is one of the most stacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Ariante Ursary is one of the best pass protecting left tackles in the college football, and I feel like it would be in their best interest to take a offensive lineman. Bears, I feel like it's pretty obvious they need an offensive lineman too. I've been taking Emory Jones. Now Cam Williams is definitely on the table, but they need someone to slide inside because their offensive tackles are fine. They're not great, but I feel like they need a bigger need at guard. But Emory Jones can slide in at guard and he can wreak some havoc. Now Rams need a corner. Benjamin Morrison, he's obviously hurt for the year, but he's still a very good player. He might have slid a little bit in the draft, but that's fine. The Rams are fine with taking the best cornerback available in the class, and very deserving for the second best corner in the draft, behind Travis Hunter or it obviously depends what position he plays, but Will Johnson is probably the best corner in the draft. Niners, obviously. Trent Williams is going to retire soon. You need a big guy just like Trent Williams to replace him. Cam Williams is that guy. He obviously plays right tackle. Kelvin plays left tackle, but they can make some changes around. He could probably slide in on both. He's big enough to play guard too, so very quality lineman for sure. Texas is very good at offensive lineman, as you can see with Kelvin Banks. That's awesome. Denver needs a receiver. Luther Burden is the best player available. He was the very first player I made in my player creations in Madden. I was going off PFF, and he was number 1 to start the season, so I made him at 78. Does he still deserve 78? Probably not. Maybe like a 77, 76, but he's still a really good player. Not many receiver needing teams, as you can see right now, but Denver is a clearly needing receiver threat, and they will need a receiver to pair up with Bo Nix to help him out. Houston, they need a guard badly. As a Colts fan, our interior D-line, it's obviously good, but it was getting to a point where it was absolutely funny watching Buckner and Grover Stewart demolish the interior O-line. Okay, I obviously don't have a script for this. They need Tyler Booker, and Tyler Booker is Houston is known for taking offensive guards in the first round, like they did with Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. Tyler Booker can be that guy. He's obviously a first or second round pick guy. I have him at 75 overall. And don't get me wrong, he ain't bad. The Texans they really need him, and they will take him. Maybe a little controversial here. I've been taking Deion Walker. Maybe why is Kenneth Grant sliding? I don't know why he's sliding. That happens a lot in the NFL draft, and I feel like Deion Walker, he was probably the second best interior defensive lineman to start the year, obviously behind Mason Graham, but he's been all right, but he's still really good too. Deion Walker, he can slide in that 3-4 scheme they got. He can play at right end, D tackle. He could play nose tackle if he wanted, but he can be like that Calais Campbell Atlanta had for a little bit in him. And maybe replace Grady Jarrett in the future and pair up with the new rookie Ruko Hororor, is how I think his name is said. Arizona is on the clock. Nick Gordon, I feel like he could play interior D-line, kind of like Darius Robinson. Obviously, Darius Robinson, I believe, is hurt. Obviously, I haven't seen much of him, but Nick Gordon is the second, probably the best edge rusher to take right now in this class right now. Obviously, Abdul Carter, James Pierce, they're all gone. He is probably the best player available right now, and he just seems like a Cardinal to me. Sometimes I pick players just because I just picture them in their jersey. Now, this pick is, I feel like it's glaring at me like it's a perfect match made in heaven. Tight ends obviously you need, but then again, you got Jim Harbaugh as the Michigan's head coach for the Chargers, and he's known for taking Michigan players like Junior Colson, and they took a receiver in the 7th round. I forgot. Cornelius Johnson, that's his name. Yeah, they took 2 Michigan players, and I feel like Kenneth Grant, they need an interior D-line bad, and I feel like it's a match made in heaven for that. Packers, Jalen Walker reminds me of Quay Walker from Georgia. They took him in the 1st round as well. He can also play. He's more at linebacker so far, but he can play edge rusher, and I feel like that's perfect for what Green Bay needs right now. Washington is on the clock, and I have them taking Jack Sawyer, an Ohio State edge rusher, kind of like Chase Young, but Jack Sawyer is kind of reminds me of Chase Young in a way, more of a power rusher, but kind of like a Montez Sweat replacement, and they could need a glaring need at tackle. They could address that later in the draft because the offensive tackle class is pretty deep. In corner, they kind of just got Marshawn Lattimore, and praying that helps. Glaring need at edge rusher is inevitable. Baltimore, they need a guard and tackle. Jonah can do both, and I feel like he would slot in perfect in Baltimore. Again, I just think he'd look good in a Ravens jersey. Pittsburgh's on the clock. I did have him taking Emeka Egbuka. But now I have him taking Isaiah Bond. He is like probably the best player, best receiver right now. Emeka Egbuka could. I had him at Pittsburgh because he just seems like he'd be a Steeler, but I feel like the Steelers would take the best player available, and the best player available right now is Isaiah Bond for sure. Minnesota is on the clock. I have him taking a corner. Obviously, they did draft a corner in the 3rd or 4th round. I think it was the 4th round. Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace. He would have been a star in this league. I scouted him back last year, and I really liked his frame. I really liked his hands, and obviously things like that can happen. But it's just sad to see that to a kid happen right when his career really starts. But Minnesota right now really needs corner, and Siobhan Revel would be a perfect fit for Minnesota. Philadelphia is on the clock, and with the glaring need of edge rusher and linebacker, Princely Umilian. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He has been a beast at Ole Miss and kind of like a replacement for Hassan Reddick. Bryce Huff hasn't been the greatest right now. Nolan Smith, I know you drafted a couple years back, has not been that guy. But Princely, I just see him in the Eagles jersey. Now I'm getting to the point where it's like I can kind of see them in that jersey. The Bills, I believe I had them taking... No, I had them taking LT Overton. He can slot in at interior D-line. LT Overton has completely boosted out of Alabama and has become a lethal edge rusher and interior line for Alabama. And I feel like he could slot in that D-line with that 4-3, and that could be definitely possible. And he is a perfect. I could see him being a good fit for Buffalo. Lions don't really need that much of a receiver, but Emeka Egbuka just seems like he'd be a Detroit Lion. Taking the best player available, that's what Detroit doesn't really do. Obviously, they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell guys who weren't really first round guys. But edge rusher could be in need, but I'm not a huge fan of this edge rusher class, and guard or center interior line. I'm not the greatest fan of it, and I just feel like taking the best player and receiver it would be an alright pick. And last pick, the Chiefs. They need a tight end. Take the best tight end available, Colson Loveland, and that is my mock draft. I'm not sure how this video will do, but this is just how my mock draft I've been doing on my Instagram. But yeah, this is my mock draft. Well, I'm not the greatest at editing. This is probably just going to be one full cut video. I don't even know how long this is. This is looking like it is 25 minutes long. I'm going to try to keep it in that 20 to 30 minute range, getting through, maybe talking about team's needs for at least a minute or so. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll probably make this video every Monday because it's, mock draft Monday. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you want me to give me suggestions for any Madden draft players I can make into Madden, because I've already made 200 already, please give me some suggestions in the comments. And thank you for watching, and keep tuning in to more Madden. And it's been your, oh my gosh, I need a new outro. But thanks for watching, and I will be back making more players. So see ya.